Yeah, it was breaking news last night at 11 o'clock when we found out. We had to follow up today. On his 84th birthday, Toledo lost a radio icon.
Bob Kelly was on the Toledo airwaves for 5 decades. And tonight, we speak to people who were influenced by him and his voice. Dominique O'Neill, he joins us in studio. He had a chance to talk to a few of those folks. Dom, what'd you find out?
Well, Jeff and Kaylee, I learned so much about Bob Kelly today after catching up with some people who knew him and were inspired by him. Bob's real name was Norm Plummer, and people say he was a happy guy with a good sense of humor.
Well, this is back in the day where, you can even see we had the records that were laid out on the counter.
That's Tom Winooski, a friend and former co-worker of Bob Kelly, the Toledo radio legend who spent more than 5 decades on the radio airwaves. He says Bob was more than just a radio host, but an overall great man.
I think the best way to describe Bob was he was funny, he was quick-witted, just sharp as a tack with the lines. But mostly he was a kind person, very gentle.
He used to have a line that went something like this: Jerry, I've worked at every station in Toledo except for Sunoco.
Former WTOL 11 news anchor Jerry Anderson had the privilege of doing television news in Toledo for more than 38 years. He reflects on the impact of Bob Kelly.
He wasn't that voice of God guy on radio. He was just Bob. He had a perfect voice for what he did in radio, and so quick, so funny. I mean, boom, boom, boom. His mind, I just marveled at.
Anderson says he was inspired by Bob to pursue his own career in broadcasting. While Anderson didn't work side by side with him, he was a kid so influenced by him that it actually shaped his career and life in the process.
I'm with Bob at some event, and I told him, I said, Bob, you know what? You're the reason I got into broadcasting. And without missing a beat, he was so quick, without missing a beat, he goes, well, that's a lot of blame to lay on any one person. And that was just Bob.
Both Anderson and Winooski say Bob's legacy will always live on.
Toledo has lost, we've lost an icon. But you know what? They can't swipe your memories from you, and that's and I have a lot of good ones of Bob.
I never heard him say a bad word about anybody. And it was important to me, as my career was growing, that he was very supportive of what I did.
And funeral arrangements for Kelly have not yet been announced. We'll be sure to update you when they are announced. Reporting in studio, Dominique O'Neill, WTOL 11.